There's this scene from Malcolm in the Middle that perfectly encapsulates the homesteader's life. I think about it every time I go to start a project, only to realize that what I want to do sits behind a list of things that must be done first. March 13th is generally considered the start of the growing season. That gives me 4 weeks to get enough of the garden built so that we can start planting on time. But before we get to the point where we're putting seeds in the ground, well, there's just a few things that need to be done first.
Al, can you replace that light bulb in the kitchen?
What does it look like I'm doing?
Please take your time, I love walls. On them my uniform is torn for your anger. With my hope, though it's grey and it's dancing. Cope with my hope, though it's grey and it's dancing. Please help my lines are disturbed by pronouncing. Call them by names and confuse all the doubts in me. I'm afraid I might need another quick spin. I'm afraid
this is the borderline for the first wall.
Yeah, I'm doing a rough sketch here of where we're gonna do the first tier.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of get close to the tree and use it as kind of the main curve.
I like the amount of space you're giving it because that tree's gonna get a lot bigger.
Yeah, I wanted to give it plenty of room for the roots
It'll
to
get
come
closer
out.
as it grows.
Yeah, I wanted a slight bend here, and then so we'll kind of wrap around this way, and then I figure probably like here to here will be stairs
Oh, this will be the entrance point to get
to get up to the next
to
tier.
this low terrace.
Yeah.
Okay. So here.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see once I'm cutting it in. What's gonna look.
But this
the
is
best.
about the area.
But this is about the area where I'm thinking the first ramp up, and then we're gonna cut back here, and then cut this way, and then we'll follow this up. And I think I'll follow it up and then follow the curve around to the left here.
Yeah.
And then backfill here, and then this will be what we start clearing for the orchard.
Okay.
And then once this is all terraced off, we can kind of plot what we want to do with this area. But we'll have a nice little clearing area here to do like an initial couple beds and you know, something kind of nice.
Yeah, because it's going to be a couple years before we're up on the hill.
Yeah.
So to have a little garden area going,
Yeah.
I would love that. We can get our basic carrots, onions, celery,
Yeah.
lettuce, herbs,
Yeah, just some
potatoes.
just some basic crops in, and then this is a few steps ahead, but we get the base wall in. We backfill even here a little bit, so it's gonna come up, and then as we come back this way, I want to cut down.
Yeah. We're flattening. Like.
We're flattening, but cut down,
Uh-huh.
and then make a couple stairs up to the next little tier here. But I'll build this up and build that up a little bit, and then we'll do some trees or some plants on top of it to reinforce this little nook. And then I'm hoping as things kind of go into bloom that eventually this area will be a little shadier, a little protected from the wind.
Yeah, and I feel like we'll have like a backyard space.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. So kind of an enclosed backyard area, not specifically fenced in, but something to where we can be like, oh, let's go have lunch in the back, you know?
Yeah.
So this is getting flattened.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The galley trench is getting turned into a galley septic. We're gonna do 2 different barrels. It'll drain into one, fill up, drain into the other, fill up, and then drain into a leach line. And hopefully the 2 first barrels will start to catch the grease and because this is just dishwater.
Yeah. Nothing else goes in there.
Nothing else goes in the water, but you can see what it's doing to the.
Yeah.
What it's doing to the soil. You know, I don't know if that's just calcium buildup or.
I think it's definitely a mineral buildup.
It's definitely some kind of mineral, but
Yeah.
the issue right now is kind of twofold. Is that the water's draining into the ground right here and
Right.
right at the base of the trailer, and then it kind of smells bad, and it's doing this to the soil, which I don't like.
And we gotta get taken care of before mosquitoes come.
Oh yeah. I don't want to run it into the septic, but I do want a better solution, so I think that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna grade this so it slides away from the trailer towards that wall.
Because right now, since we're at the base of this hill,
Everything wants to run into the trailer.
right, what happens when it rains,
Yeah.
everything settles
And
down
even
there.
when thing leaks
Right.
out of the hose, not out of the pressure thing. And then sometimes it leaks coming out of here, but when we're doing showers or anything like that, when that water's sitting, it just pools up against the trailer.
We need it to go away.
And we need it to go away. So that's part of this as well. But I'm way more excited about plotting out this wall than I am about digging out that stuff. So I'm going to start with the wall.
Yeah, give yourself, do something that you're excited to get to go with.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot more digging too, but I figure as I'm digging this, I can take breaks to go get, because this is going to require, after I dig all this out, we're going to have a drop at least a couple feet from one tier to the next.
Yeah.
And on that drop, what I want to do is I want to do a retaining wall with bigger stones. So kind of the stones we used out in the front to block that second driveway.
Right.
And have them create that retaining wall. It's going to take a lot of rock.
It is.
A lot of heavy rock.
But we're gonna use. We got a small truck right now.
We got a small truck right now.
Yeah.
And I know where the caches are on the rocks, so we'll just slowly start accruing them. Anyway, so that's the plan. I'm probably gonna try. I've been really wanting to try using some of the chisels that I have to kind of chip the rock.
Yeah, you were talking about that, shaping them.
I want to shape them a little more square, if it's possible. So I'm gonna test my hand at it. I'm hoping we'll be able to.
Freshly done.
Yes, he just knows. Here. Phase 1 is cutting in our retaining wall. Phase 2 is going to be grading this area. Phase 3 will be grading this area. Phase 4 will be the rocks. And in between that, we'll be working on the galley trench. So this is going to be...
This is a big project.
It's a big project. I'm hoping to start it by hand. I'm hoping to get the Kubota.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you about that.
And do the majority of it with the Kubota.
Okay.
But today,
You're just getting started.
I'm just getting started.
Yeah.
When we drove up to Washington, I started getting back into audiobooks. I go in spurts where I'll get into a series and then it's all I want to do is finish reading it or listening to it in this case. So I was looking for a project to kind of bury my head into manual labor, put my headphones on, and just work through the day listening to my book. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up the camera on a time lapse. I'll probably move it around a few times so it's dynamic and interesting. I'm going to put my headphones on and my day is going to be moving dirt.
That sounds like you don't need me kind of day.
I mean, I would like help moving dirt, but if you want to do your art, I'll just be kind of buried in it anyway. So maybe if you want to take a break and come out and I could take a break and we could talk about where we're at or something.
Yeah.
But that's my plan.
Weekend is gone. I'm far beyond my wishes. We took our surfboards down to the shore of wonder. 7 days in the deep sea. I'm free like a gypsy going wild. Weekend is gone, but I can't forget the feeling. How brave we were beyond.
Oh my god. Wow. How are you feeling food-wise?
Oh, I'm starving.
Do you want me to start making you something? Do
Oh yeah, will you?
you want the use?
Yeah.
You gotta get that tractor.
It would make things easier.
Yeah.
But I don't mind doing this initial bit here because we've got a pipe that comes out here.
Oh no, I remember, yeah.
And down through there we've got that other one.
The other one
So
goes
doing it,
in and then down.
yeah,
I think it's kind of by the tree where the neck is at.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel ya.
So I think doing it this way gives us a better. We can kind of, I can feel it out.
Yeah, once we get to the parts that we know there's no pipes, we can just grab that machine and...
So I'll take a break for lunch and then get back at it. But I think I'm making a pretty good dent.
When the night is free, a ghost is closer to me, and it is just in time to realize. Now I'm holding on
Terrible idea for the audio, but it might be a good shot. We'll see. So this is a culvert, and it just channels extra rainwater when it floods through so it doesn't hit the road. There's one of these every, half mile or so going out towards the ranches back here. But this whole area is full of bedrock, which I think is going to be a good rock to use for our retaining walls. They're pretty square. I'm going to take a look around actually. We'll see if they're all square. I need something bigger than this. I'm going to go look around, see what we can find.
Desde el momento que te vi en aquel rincón, me sentí el fuego en mi corazón. Todos los años que soñé con volverte a ver, tuve la esperanza, no paré de creer que llegará el momento de nuestro amanecer. Y de repente estás aquí, no te dejaré apartar de mí. Baila conmigo hasta olvidar todas las amarguras, todo nuestro penar. En esta luna llena contigo quiero estar. El mundo deja de existir, no hay nada más que tus ojos negros. Cuando me miras, todos los años que soñé con volverte a ver, tuve la esperanza, no paré de creer que llegará el momento de nuestro amanecer. Y de repente estás aquí, no te dejaré apartar de mí.
You waiting for me, big girl? Jeremiah's not wrong though. Those columns with the light fixtures all the way down.
Yeah,
Look at these kind of driveway.
would look super cool, yeah.
Oh, we're gonna use some of our
I just want to mark some stuff out.
nice. What's the plan for today?
So we got pretty far yesterday.
You did. You got real far. There's no
Um,
we involved. You got real far yesterday.
Yeah, we got a good amount of progress there. As I was standing up here
Mm-hmm.
and kind of looking,
Surveying.
yeah, I was noticing a couple issues that are coming up here. There's three things that are kind of standing out to me.
All right.
One is that this path here slopes up.
Mhm.
It starts to slope up as it comes out this way. So if I continue doing this grade like this, it's just going to get deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
Right.
The second thing, we've got a line, and you can kind of see it.
Yeah, where the water was.
Yeah.
That was about 4 feet down. And
that-
so, and if you keep going, you're going to hit that, is what you're saying?
I think so. What I'm thinking is, I'm going to come to here. But right around here, I'm going to start to grade up.
To meet the hill.
Yeah, to meet the hill.
I think you have to.
So then the third thing is that it starts to slope up right here. So I've got to kind of meet this.
Yeah, you got to meet this slope.
Yeah. And this can kind of start to grade upwards because we're going to have the stairs right here.
Mm-hmm.
Those are our stairs coming in to the next tier. And I kind of like that because you can kind of walk around the house here. And then the stairs are right there to go up. For this back here, I was wondering how far back do we go to give us
A first terrace.
a good first terrace, right? We want enough room to have more than a few vegetables growing, right? We want a few beds, a few planting areas. So I'm kind of thinking like all the way back to about here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would really stick with like what the land's doing. Like it's pretty flat until about here.
Yeah.
And this feels like this would be our next spot for like the next tier.
I was kind of thinking what I would do is I'm going to curve around back here. And then when I get to here, I'm going to do something a little higher. 1, 2, 3 is basically what I was thinking. That way it creates a cool little and we can run that around the side there.
I like that. Because if I remember correctly, when we were standing up there, even the terraces we were looking at, if you watch it naturally, it's not like a perfect, like kind of like zigzags
It
down.
does.
So I think you're definitely, I like what you're going with.
We've got so much room. So
No.
I'm always like, how do I scale up a little bit?
Yeah. We have the space to do it while still, my big goal with the property is doing the things and building the things we want to build and then still maintaining the natural beauty of what we got going
Exactly. I just want to elevate what's already here. You know, I want to take advantage of we purposefully bought a piece of property that wasn't just flat.
Yeah.
You know, now it ended up that we got no flat. Maybe over on the other side of the street here, we've got some flat acres, but in the dead center where we've chosen to settle, no flat land is around us. So we're constantly having to carve it out of the area. But the good part about that is that we end up with all these really cool, dynamic looking areas. This corner sits the lowest, so that's going to be brought up the highest, and then it'll backtrack this way. But this is kind of the stuff that I've been really wanting to do, you know, since the idea of buying a property came up, is terraforming the land, shaping it how we want it to be the kind of space that we want. And we've got so much space here to be able to do that kind of stuff. Well, I'm going to set up mine, and then I put in a few hours, and then when I break for food, I'll set up the rig.
I'm already hungry.
I'm hungry too, but I'd like to get like an hour.
I'm cooking bolognese today, so I'm going to go in and start prepping. It's so early, but it takes so long.
Yeah, but it's so worth it.
It is.
The bolognese recipe came out so good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we decided to experiment and try some different stuff, because that was a winner. Okay. Oh, I know it. I know it's outside time. This whole area is gonna be pretty safe. Yeah, this is gonna be a good gizmo area. For sure. Lots of stuff that you're gonna wanna pee on that's gonna piss me off. Yeah, like the garden. I don't want my vegetables all full of your pee. You hear me? Shush, shush, shush. Stop being so jealous. Stop being so jealous. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Here, get out of the way of the camera. At least get out of the way of the camera. All right, so it's Tuesday. As most of you guys know, Tuesdays are my down day. It's usually the day that I get to do whatever I want. Of course, as I've said before, on Tuesdays, a lot of the time what I want to do is be out working on the property. And today's no different. We're still working on phase 1 of the retaining wall, making this first tier for our garden area here. You know, the greenhouse will sit back this way, or maybe back this way, not quite sure yet. We'll see how this area kind of turns out first before we lock in where we're putting the greenhouse. The orchard will be out that way. But one of the things we got to do with this tier back here is we got to level it out a bit. I just want to grade it It doesn't have to be 100% level, but right now it's got a huge slope because it's up on Titas here, and it's just this slope up to the top that it looks very gradual, so it's a little misleading, and it's actually further back than you think as well. Anyway, this side's got to come up, and that side's got to come down, so we can get this balance here in the middle and get this nice level terraced area. Back in June, I don't want to give a specific month because I'm probably wrong, but a while ago we did a Q&A, and during that Q&A I was talking about how, you know, the pie in the sky dream for this property is that you can get lost here, that there are pockets of things to find that are separated by growth and earth and rock, letting you kind of just wander around the property and stumble onto cool little installations that we'll do, or alcoves. I'm thinking secluded reading area, a little flower garden that's tucked in somewhere. I want to do these, this is on the ridiculous side, but I want to do some very large concrete dice, something to the scale of the D20 itself. Actually, I want to be, if I get my way, probably 12 feet tall, 10 to 12 feet tall. We build these dice, and then I sink them half into the ground in different areas. I want to age them rapidly so they look like they've always been here. So they're kind of like ruins that you're discovering around the property. And I might do a puzzle or a mystery solved. That's, anyway, that's all years and years away. It starts with, really is starting with this first tier. This is our first cut and our first foray into Titas, which is the eventual place of our forever home. And I'm pretty excited about it, which is why I'm out here on my day off. So I went and got some rocks this morning, heavy stones. You know, in my mind, I thought the gathering rock part would be a lot easier. You know, you're looking for specific rocks. You want some squareness to them. You, at the very least, want one flat side that can act as your outer wall, and you want to be able to build up and out from that. So that's what we grabbed. We grabbed probably a dozen of these things, not nearly enough for what we're going to be doing here today, but it's a good start, and it'll give me an idea of kind of what I want to do. And initially, I was thinking all the rocks would be like this. I needed these type of stones, and ideally, if there was just a field of these stones out there, these would be the only ones I grabbed. I grabbed one of these, got it to the truck, and was like, you know what? Maybe we can go a little smaller. So as much as I wanted them to all be this size, this weight is at my limit. I did get a few ones that are physically bigger, but don't have the weight. And the weight is really, it's high priority for me, because the heavier these stones are, the easier of a time they're gonna have acting as retaining wall stones. So the hill's gotta come up, and it's coming up way past where we'd have the crater dug for the water. I'm definitely not pulling the tree back out. It is where it's gonna be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the rocks, I'm going to build a rise around the back that the dirt can kind of cascade down around the sides of. So that's what I'm doing today. I think it's enough talking head. I'm going to get to work and we'll see how we do. All right.
Hey now, I want to find my own way out, escape this boredom and break down. There's nothing left for me here. Stay loud, I'll bite the bullet and fake out, so no one knows when I came down. There's nothing left for me. I'm on holiday. I'm on holiday from now on.
So you found a couple more roots for me to dig up.
Oh my gosh. If we can get them down a little bit below the surface, once we gravel this,
Yeah.
you won't notice them at all. I dug out this a little bit yesterday, but I'm gonna get a little bit more out here towards the middle so this finishes draining, and hopefully we can get it dry like this. But the dirt that I'm pulling out of here is,
Gross.
it's disgusting.
I bet. I mean, it's
And it smells bad.
yeah, it's
and,
gray water.
you know, right now I did one pile over there and I put a wheelbarrow of regular dirt over it. I did one pile over here and I put a wheelbarrow of regular dirt over it. I don't know if mixing it in with the soil is helpful or if it should just be dirt we don't use or anything.
And everything that's in there is gonna eventually break down.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. If I spread it out and cover it, it'll
Yeah.
break down on its own a little bit.
Yeah, because there's nothing that's like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's gross.
It's gross, yeah, but it is just like, what's that? What was that?
This is the. Oh, I think that was telling me it was turning itself off. This is my newest toy here. I splurged on this. This tiny little nothing was $300.
I bet.
It will let me clip it onto stuff.
There's a hat clip for it.
I got this hat clip for it.
Is that blood on your finger?
No, it's construction
Oh,
paint.
Okay. It looks super cool.
Oh, I bet. I bet it looks really neat. I don't know if
It
I'm.
looks like a headlamp.
Yeah, I wonder what the viewpoint is. I wish I knew if it was recording or not. That'd be cool. Okay, so now I'm gonna clamp this onto here. Okay, that's the middle. Why is that blinking red? Maybe that's because it's recording.
That I would imagine, right?
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Oh no, it's me.
The other goodies I got over here.
Oh yeah. That's
Now that
right.
we're
talking
talking about my goodies. A brand new spider mount. This is the one that I had before. This is a good mount. The problem with these mounts is they're all the same. Inside of here, in order to allow you to do all these cool bends, it's just a solid length of wire.
that you're constantly bending.
Yeah, so it's a thick piece of wire. So you can see that after a year of bending, it just broke.
Yeah.
That wire is snapped. You can still bend it where it's not broken,
Right.
which is not helpful. But once a leg goes, that's pretty much the end of that thing. So a unfortunate but necessary replacement.
Right.
And then I got this guy here. This was a definite splurge. I didn't absolutely need this thing, but
Oh,
I,
but you've been eyeing a new little
I
hand
have.
pickaxe for a while.
Same brand as the hammer your brother has and the Maddox that Jeremiah has.
That
That's
looks
true
like a
too.
tool that will also come in handy.
I
then.
think so. So I spoiled myself a little bit and got that. I got this cool guy set.
I'm noticing the color palette.
Oh yeah.
Options over here,
This
right?
sits on a corner and then these things sit on the outside. It holds your 90-degree angles on the tops of when you're building stuff out of wood.
Man, once we figure these out, they're gonna be.
They're gonna be so useful. But when we did our light towers, we had a little bit of wiggle room in the.
Yeah, using just the regular clamps to hold them in, you couldn't correct the bend and stuff. It
Yeah.
would just emphasize it.
So I really wanted to make sure that we're getting our 90-degree angles when we're making stuff, so it's coming out professional. Especially as we move into, we're gonna do some stuff on the inside of the house, and as I get better and more proficient at woodworking and doing this stuff, I want to get more precise. And
Having the tools for that is key.
it really is. So.
We've also had the discussion multiple times that we need corner clamps.
Oh yeah.
It's been brought up.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you splurged.
So those are my splurges. I'm gonna go put these in the garage here since we won't be needing them. But yeah, I'll try some stuff out with this camera.
You still recording?
I don't know, is it blinking red?
Yep.
Then yeah, it's still recording.
Awesome.
I wonder if this thing has a mic in it. We'll find out.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go put this stuff away.
I'm gonna grab my gloves and my sunglasses so I can come help.
Okay. You know, every time we complete a project, I learn something new. A trick, a skill, a tool to add to my box of solutions. On the surface, yeah, there's nothing particularly exciting about moving dirt or stacking rocks. But this garden will be our first substantial change to the property. The first space large enough for us all to gather. It starts by sculpting a desert hillside that is uniquely Golconda, and culminates in a homestead whose style is uniquely